We've been receiving some questions online about tax reform, and our next caller in Mill Creek, Eric, has a question about the estate tax. Eric, you're on the line with Senator Lee.
Hi, Senator Lee. I'm calling to ask whether you support a repeal of the estate tax, or I've seen it called the death tax. It's something I've seen in documents released by colleagues of yours. Representative Mia Love is my representative. She has called for a repeal of the estate tax and the death tax. I'm calling to ask whether you do the same.
Yes, Eric from Mill Creek, I do support it, and I think it's entirely appropriate to refer to the estate tax as the death tax. Look, it's often said that there are only a few things that can be counted on as permanent: death and taxes, and it's especially unfortunate when we merge the two. We find a way to tax death when, after someone has accumulated earnings over time, that their estate is then taxed after that, so as to make it impossible for them to pass along their business to their descendants, or to pass along their assets. I think it's wrong. I think it's bad policy. One of the things that's especially bad about this is that it's taking out a constituency from which Washington wants to take money. There's another saying in Washington: don't tax you, don't tax me, tax the man behind the tree. It's always helpful, as politicians perceive it in Washington, to tax someone who doesn't have a vote. And I think it's especially egregious to take hard-earned money by people who have died and as a result are unable to have any say in that. So I would support its wholesale repeal.
If I may ask a quick follow-up.
Go ahead, Eric.
My understanding is that the estate tax applies to households with over $5.5 million in assets per person. And so in Utah, it would affect 20 estates, 20 households in 2018. And so I'm asking how a repeal of that helps Utah.
Eric, it's theirs. It doesn't belong to the government. So without regard to the level at which you set it, I mean, once we agree that it's okay for the government to do that, then we're just haggling over the price. It sounds like you and I might have a legitimate disagreement on this. But I think at that point, we're just haggling over the price. It's not the government's money. It doesn't belong to the government.